All rise. Court is ready. Captain Murtala Inusah has joined us. Captain, good morning.
Good morning, Edie.
How are you?
Great, yourself?
I'm doing well.
Yeah,
It's Tuesday. You know, today's 17th, so I'm counting the days.
how many
I'm
days
counting down
to the end of the year? Bronya,
Bronya,
Bronya start from
yeah, I love Bronya.
24th.
Yeah.
Is your polythene bag ready?
Che,
This one, if you are sorry.
now Ghana must go.
The Ghana must go. You have the small size, the medium size, and then the large size.
The largest.
The large size. Those that you meet on the street, a lot of them are with the funeral swab.
You know?
They have swapped the polythene bag with the funeral swab.
Anyway, so let's look at a number of things that happened in court yesterday.
Yes.
And then we'll look at the things that are coming up today.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that happened yesterday was the democracy have brought us this case. What's the latest on that?
You know why I'm laughing? It's one of the cases that took a lot of center stage this year. And in fact, 52...
Yeah, and characterized by a lot of drama.
I'm telling you, the scenes at the courts, you needed to be there. And also, one of the cases that we saw a lot of police presence, all because of that demonstration, which led to some arrests of 53 persons. They have been arraigned, and as time goes on, some are being discharged, others are also going to face trial. Yesterday, one person, for those who will remember, there was a gentleman along the line who was in the kaftan, white kaftan with a towel. Anytime we go to court, he's asking the police, "Where is my towel?" And he said he was from church and he was arrested.
He was from where?
Church.
So
and then he was arrested.
There was some Holy Spirit in there. That's how I guess.
He was arrested, and yesterday when he came to court, apparently he was one of those who should have been discharged long ago. The fresh charge sheet that was filed by the prosecution, his name was not on it. So yesterday, his lawyers made it known to the court that their client is in court. The new charge sheet that was filed, his name was not in there, and then they were wondering why he is in court. And then the prosecution indicated that it was an omission on their part, and for him, the story is that he's been acquitted. He's been discharged, not acquitted. He's been discharged because at any time they think that fresh evidence comes out and they think that they have to go for him, they can go for him. So he has been discharged yesterday. But Oliver was in court yesterday, and one of the things we've been speaking to him after the court sit, and one of the things that he said was that, look, this persecution and all that, and in fact he has a message for John Dramani Mahama, the president-elect. He said, look, one of the things that you campaign for is that when you come, you drop charges or you file a nolle prosequi to drop charges against us. You have won the election. The case has been adjourned to February 13. If February 13, we come and you have not dropped the charges against us, we'll boycott court. Let's hear from what Oliver has to say in relation to that.
Let's be frank. I mean, you can see the body language of the prosecution itself. A delay and adjournment is the language of a regime that knows no shame. That if they were constitutionally responsible, they would have dropped these charges, but they continue to drag it out. And of course, every accused person is entitled constitutionally to be provided every facility to be able to prepare for their defense. And our lawyers are going to treat it with the kind of seriousness that every matter deserves, traditionally. But the important point that has to be made that this is nothing but political persecution of environmental activists. And we must re-emphasize that point, that if the Republic had any shame whatsoever, these charges have already been dropped. The president-elect campaigned on grounds that the first thing he was going to do was to demand that they file a nolle prosequi to drop these charges, not only in respect of this proceedings relating to the Stop Galamsey protest, but also the Trump treason charges against me. One thing is clear, that we, the protesters, are resolved that if come 17th of February, if the charges are not dropped, we are all going to boycott the judicial process, and the courts can do whatever they want in respect of it. We must, continue the patience we have showed with the state in some of these things. We must stop. Our intention, obviously, as we have said before, is to demand a parliamentary inquiry in respect of the police misconduct on the day of during the protest, but also demand that individuals who have been affected by torture, by denial of rights, are properly compensated by the state. These are conversations of justice that we intend the new administration to be engaged in, but we are clear that we no longer have any patience for these trumped-up charges anymore.
You know what he says that gets me cracking?
Yeah, tell me.
That they will boycott court.
Yes, he said
Now
if,
they lose.
so what it means is that they are going to undermine activities of the court, and the court will also be forced to issue bench warrants and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
And he is saying that, look, what happened if you don't keep up to your promise and we start boycotting court? It means we are going to hit the street as well. It's an indication that he's giving to the president. So once you have been sworn in, president-elect, once you have been sworn in, but we just hope that
the president
absolutely
has the judges in his pockets. I mean,
the laws. His point is that President Mahama campaigned on the back of these Galamsey issues and said that, look,
Sure.
these people were campaigning on a good cause, were protesting on a good cause. So when get the opportunity when it comes, charges, President Mahama on the platforms, so many platforms, indicate that they shouldn't have even been remanded because whatever they were demonstrating for is
They
their
were
right.
justified.
And they think that once the president make that call and now you have the power, you should do the needful. And the needful
You have the
means
power as
that
the supreme
you have
leader.
to So he said 17th of February. That's 2 or 3 days after Valentine. 3 days
3
after
days
Valentine.
after Valentine.
He'll be back in court. And if that day,
After
that day-
enjoying with their significance,
And
after
not-
President Mahama will enjoy with Madame Lodina, then he
remember
will
the
be worrying him.
President Mahama, one of the campaign platform, he said something, and he said Lodina should meet him in the room and said,
You
"Ghana
know.
for Masimu with the power." So 17th of February, he said not only in respect of this case, but his treason felony case, the one that he was arrested in February 14, was also Valentine's Day 2022.
I think that Oliver should be renamed February backup Como because he has a lot of things.
A lot of
answer in
issues to
February.
remember in
Yeah.
February and all that. So February they will be back in court, and he has made that indication. But
But he's asking President Mahama to do something about his treason felony case as well.
yes, so he's saying that it's not only the Galamsey one that we expect you to file a null prosecution, but that case you have to discontinue action against me.
How I am wondering. I mean,
In his view, it was persecution.
but persecution
Yes.
on the side of who?
So
if it is the states, go to court,
So
argue
he
out
said-
your case.
He said that the current administration is persecuting him. And so once the president has campaigned that charges against people who are doing their lawful duty and all that, he didn't give us reason for that
This is
that particular
a treason felony
one.
case.
But he thinks that
I am
it was-
wondering how President Mahama. Well, I don't want to hold brief for him, but I'm wondering how President Mahama can step in a treason felony case. What would he do? He would tell the judges that please discontinue the case.
No, so what happens is that it's the attorney general that initiate the action against him. So when the new attorney general
Because the
comes,
Attorney General is appointed by the
and
president.
for
Okay.
null prosecutor, when the AG enters a null prosecutor, he's not supposed to explain. Go to court, discharge Oliver. The court, he doesn't need to offer any explanation to why they are asking the court to discontinue.
What sort of
It's just as straightforward.
man-
He comes to court and he
manipulation
decides to take back his case. So he's saying that when your new AG comes, make sure that he discontinued that case by way of filing a null
what sort
prosecution.
of
We'll get
threat
there.
is that?
And that case is back on the 15th of January. Yeah, the treason felony one is back in court.
That will just
before-
be a few days after about 8
Yes,
days.
I think 8 days
After President
President
Mahama
Mahama
is
is sworn
sworn in. And in 8 days, he should appoint an AG that should come and tell
Yes.
the judges that discontinue.
we are discontinuing. People
just
have
joking in this
listed a
country.
number of political cases in court, and when the new administration takes off, the kind of those cases that will be truncated or will be discontinued. It was quite interesting enough in there. So we live to see what will happen. But Killian Gomashi, the gentleman that I talked to you about, that he has his towel, he's always having that towel on his neck. He said, look, he has been discharged and he's going to sue the state for compensation. Let's listen to him.
I feel vindicated, but again, I have to file charges against the state for breaching of my fundamental rights. I was not only arrested, I was arrested and remanded in prison, not even in police custody. I was sent to prison. So for me, being discharged today, I would say I will give thanks to God and also my lawyer that came to defend me. But like I said, I have to file charges against the state because we cannot turn this state into a banana republic. In the first place, like I said, the arrest was, it was a silly arrest. The arrest was a silly arrest. So for me, I'll file charges against the state.
How do you feel?
How do I feel? Ah, for me, I think it has to do with my family and friends because because they were more worried than me. I think today I can see my elder sister calling calling family and friends, telling them that I've been discharged and co. So for me, this things actually means nothing to me. It's my family and friends that way having the sleepless night. Even yesterday, before I could go for mass, a friend of mine called me, "Killing, are you okay? We've been worried about you. You understand?" I said, "Look, guy, I'm okay. I'm fine." So I've been discharged today as around 12:37 when the judge says, "Killing, you've been discharged, blah blah blah." So I give glory to God.
So that's Killian. And he finally
Yes.
found his towel.
Yes, it's funny.
Whatever
I
is
don't
in
know
that
what is
towel, I want to
what
know.
is contained in that towel.
Yeah.
And this towel always brought him issues in court. Anytime he appears
He
in
came
court,
from
where is my?
church.
He said he was from
His
church.
pastor blessed it.
Yes,
So.
he's a Catholic, so he came from church and he was trying to. But he's been accusing the police of pursuing him illegally because the police have murdered his brother some time back, and then they square to seek justice, and then they are trying to show him where power lies. So he's asking former President Mahama and now President-elect to not to reappoint Dampare as an IGP. If it does happen, he will stage a naked.
Everybody has their requests.
He will
I
stage a
do
naked
not
demonstration.
envy Mr. Mahama at all. Goodness me.
When you are making promises, you have to be
You
measured.
have to be measured,
You
you
have to be
know. The
measured
people
and all that.
see Ghanaians have become very discerning. Ghanaians
They will
have
refer
become
you.
very woke.
They will refer
that
you.
they will hold you to account.
No, we vote for you based on the fact that I find myself in what you are telling me. So when you
Exactly.
can make sure that I get whatever
I-
made me vote for
yeah.
you. But of course, not everyone will be satisfied.
Of
Along the
course.
line, those who stood and campaigned for you, some of them will be disappointed because
Oh, as for that
their
one,
bidding
dear,
have not been.
it is non-negotiable. I want for it. Anyway, let's talk about the Tema-Mpakadan train accident.
Yes.
Yesterday we're talking briefly about it.
Yesterday, I was telling you
court,
about
yeah.
that very case. He came on before Justice Na Ekowa Kwashi. She handled that particular case.
Oh, I haven't heard of this one.
If not, yeah, it's a new one. She's now taking over from your woman, your favorite
Yeah,
judge,
my
Justice
favorite.
Lydia Osema for the
yeah.
Criminal Court 5. And yesterday, you know, the 4 accused persons all of them have been granted bail. However, 2 of them have not been able to meet their bail conditions, and they have since been in police custody. Police said, we have had enough with these 2 accused persons in our custody. Our prayer is that remand them into prison's custody so that the prison officers will take charge of them. And the court agreed. And so yesterday, the 2 out of 4 were remanded into prison's custody. And sometime 15th of January, they'll be back in court in relation to that case.
And then the 2 people who were impersonating
Okuyeto
Ablakwa.
Yes, the 2 were in court yesterday, and interestingly, the prosecution indicated to the court that following fresh investigation conducted, discoveries have shown that it is not only Okuyeto Ablakwa that those guys allegedly impersonated,
Really?
but the National Women Organizer, Hannah Bisu, was also involved. Mr. Ampim Dakun, a Sojaman MP at the time, was also involved. So yesterday, Watkins Adama, state attorney, told the court that they have filed a fresh charge sheet or fresh charges against the accused persons. However, because it was filed in the morning, lawyers of the accused person, led by Lawrence Boampon-Wiredu, indicate he was holding brief for Martin Pebu, indicated that they will need time to have conference with their clients, and then when they come back to court at the next court sitting, the court will be able to take their plea. So January 15, this case has been adjourned. So the previous charges against them, yesterday, they were dropped, and the latest one was substituted with it, also before Justice Nako Wakwashi handling this very case.
And then the gentleman who was accused of allegedly robbing the second lady.
Yes,
Was that
yes,
case in
yes,
court
yes,
yesterday?
yes. Yahuza Osmanu. Yahuza was in court yesterday. In fact, he came in late. At the time that he came, the case has already been adjourned. And what happened was that his lawyers have filed a motion asking for some personal belonging items to be released to him. But that particular motion has not been served on the Attorney General's office. However, they asked that the case be adjourned so that at the next court sitting, that particular motion would have been served on the AG. And the case is also ready for case management conference where they sort out all documentation and processes. At the last court sitting, the problem they had was with the dates. One document, two separate dates. One was on 13 and one was 23rd. So apparently, it was some error there. So they have asked to be corrected. And so the court gave the indication that on the next court sitting, they will deal with the motion seeking for the release of the ISA, and a case management conference will also continue from there.
And then yesterday, the NDC dragged the EC, is sent out a suit to dragging the EC to court over recollation of results, parliamentary results especially.
Yeah, so that's, note that we told you earlier that the Suhum Adrenjury incident came up.
Sahum
I don't know why I keep mentioning
You keep mentioning Suhum.
I have some special ties with Suhum.
I think so. We need to find out backstage.
So, some constituencies, in fact, 5 of them, where the election result, the parliamentary election results were declared. The NDC is saying that the court should make sure that once those seats have been declared, the EC cannot go back and say we are doing recollation. And what are these seats and who are those that were declared winners of these seats? Faustina Eliklem Akurugu, that is Dom Kwabenya. Okay. Then Baba Sadiq, that is Okankwe Central. Then we have Irabna Obin for Ablikuma North. Then Ibi Bright,
that's Tema Central.
And Sambo Abuaje for Obuasi East. The NDC is saying that all these seats have been declared in favor of these persons. And there's no way recollation, redeclaration should be made. So they are before the court for the court to restrain that whatever has been done, the EC is sealed. If anybody disputes with that, go to court. But the EC cannot say we are suspending all those things for recollation and redeclaration. So they are in court officially to challenge or to stop the EC from carrying out those recollation of those declared seats in order. So in the coming days, a lot of these issues will happen in court and will bring you up to date in relation to all that will be happening, yes.
Let's look at some of the cases coming up today. Saglemi is back in court.
So,
Alaji Collins Lauder, the man in white.
The man in white.
Yeah.
He'll be in court today for the first time after retaining his seat. And I'm just
yeah.
looking at the kind of interaction that will happen between him and Justice Ernest Owusu. But
the man in white. Yeah.
He's always in white. He thinks that
maybe
President
Mahama should consider him for a finance minister since he's always in white.
we are in a country where white has been synonymous to the finance ministry, right?
Yes,
the man is always in white and all that.
So
but when Dr. Dufo was a finance minister, he was not wearing
I am
white.
not sure.
Yeah, he has always been in suits and all that.
Yeah.
He has not been wearing white. But
He's a well-seated man, yes.
Ken Oforiatta is the man in white all the time. So today, Alaji Collins Dada, Kweku Ajiman, Emensa, Nuvi Tete Angelo, Alaji Zibrim Yakubu, he is unwell, but has been given permission by the court that when they need him, he will be made to come to court. But the fourth accused person, he's passed on, so the contractor has passed on, so he's no more in the case. So today, before Justice Ernest Owusu Dapa, Justice of the Court of Appeal, the court is hoping that at the last court sitting, the third prosecution witness was testifying, but she had issues. And the court is saying prosecution should put their house in order and make sure that today, when they come, work will progress. So we are hoping to see that happen, hoping that prosecution will put their house in order and the witness will have the leeway to continue with her testimony.
Today is 17, so Naman is suspected back in court, right?
And Naman is back in court. You notice that I told you, I've been telling you about the fact that he has a motion for the court to stay proceedings pending an appeal that he and his lawyers say they are going to file to challenge the order for him to open his defense because the court ruled that the prima facie evidence has been established against him. He said, no, I'm going to the Court of Appeal, stay that proceeding. At the last court sitting, Justice Ernest Owusu-Dampah dismissed his request and said that, now one, today you are opening your defense. If you want to appeal, you can go on appeal, but I'm not staying the trial. So today we hope that Namwan will be in court, and as directed by the court, he'll have to enter the witness box and open his defense. He said he'll be calling at least 3 witnesses. So we want to see which witnesses he'll be calling in relation to this very case.
Okay, and then finally, one of the cases coming up is the Abesim murder case.
Yes. If you
Quite
take
sad
away
one,
the Kasua ritual murder,
that's another
yes,
one
that's another case
all
that
of us,
nobody will want to. Richard Appiah, 18 at the time, he's a footballer. At the time, he wanted the court to give him grant him bail so that he would go and train and be part of the Black Stars team that was going to the World Cup. He's alleged to have killed 2 teenagers, cut the body part into pieces and stored them in a refrigerator. Sad one. So he's in court. The trial is also on it. It's yet about to start before Justice Rubiaiti. So today he'll be back in court, and we'll know what the pleasure of the court will be in relation to this. He will be facing a jury trial. So these are the cases that we expect coming on in relation to what is happening in court today.
Okay, Captain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lily.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
I'll catch you on the flip
I can
side.
see